Today I'll be reviewing Into the Radius, which was first released back in 2019 and stayed in early access till 2021 and has now come to PSVR2. So in today's video I'll be sharing my full thoughts on how Into the Radius shapes up in 2024 and how the port by developers VR Monkey, the same developers behind Galaxy Carts, performs, and if they've done the PSVR2 version justice. Now, my relationship with the original Into the Radius has been pretty dynamic in terms of a love-hate one when I first got into PCVR back in 2017. I found it all pretty frustrating due to the lack of tutorials combined with some unique interactions like single bullet reloading, which put me off from spending any quality time in the game. But as time has gone on, the developers have worked hard and listened to their community to make Into the Radius still have a very unique approach and appeal. And once you understand how the game wants to be played and the gameplay mechanics, what you're left with is an engaging first-person, risk-for-reward scavenging shooter with an intense and sometimes scary atmosphere. And revisiting it this week on PSVR2 has been a really good experience. So let's talk technical. The port is actually pretty good and leaves me only to report on a few far-off visual glitches that aren't that important to the gameplay. There's some low frame rates when climbing ladders, which is honestly a bit strange, but overall what we have is a solid port, and the PSVR2's OLED display adds some really nice colours to the pretty bland looking world overall. As for refresh rates, you can pick between quality and performance modes. Quality is 60Hz reprojected to 120, and performance gives you native 90Hz, which I think is a first on PSVR2, but if it isn't, let me know down in the comments. Now personally, I would definitely pick performance mode. It does seem to add maybe some more pop-in, but I found the experience a little bit crisper and obviously a lot smoother, especially for those of us who use smooth turning. If you're a player who uses click turning, give quality mode a try and see what you think. At this time of scripting there was no headset rumble, at least I didn't notice any. The adaptive triggers might have been working but they weren't put to any significant use, but the controller haptics were nice. You can play this comfortably seated and all the options you would expect are present, but if you can, I would definitely play this one standing. So onto the gameplay. You are a mercenary soldier paid to explore the deadly Perchosk zone filled with dangerous anomalies called mimics, who take the form of soldiers or police who are also armed and speak some really extremely creepy sentences if you get in earshot. There's also some weird shadow monsters that walk around like zombies, and there's also some unpredictably big shadow-like spiders which I particularly hate when exploring the Radius. Your job is to run errands for the UNSC and earn higher security levels and lots of danger money. These security levels unlock better weapons, gear and accessories. Now speaking of the weapons, they are definitely the star of the show and there's a lot of them. They all look and work wonderfully, and as a tip, always remember to check the safety is off before venturing out because most guns you find or buy have the safety on by default. Now unfortunately the rest of the game is definitely showing its age now, and upon its full release from early access in 2021, the developers have now moved on to developing Into the Radius 2, which genuinely looks like a next-gen title in comparison to Into the Radius. So don't go into this game expecting to be wowed by the visuals. However, while saying that, it still does have some visually striking moments, like the first time you enter your main base, or when you see some twisted part of the map which in reality could never exist, like railway tracks twisting around rail cars up in the air, and when you actually look up to the Radius itself in the sky, it's still super cool looking and a little bit unsettling. You have a full body avatar with feet that never quite touch the ground, and running can be humorous regardless if you recenter or not. Your arms can sometimes get a bit confused, especially at the elbow joint of what you're trying to grab, and in certain high stakes situations this can add some stress because you can't quite reach what you wanted to reach on your body, or you will accidentally drop something or throw something in the middle of some action. And all of this is especially true if you're trying to run and move at the same time. That is why if you like this style of game, playing it slow and steady and planning correctly by storing shotgun shells in your anything pocket on your left instead of trying to reload using ammo boxes, and having an abundance of ammo clips at the ready is not only important for survival, it's actually important for your enjoyment of the game. Now going back to my original comment regarding gameplay mechanics, what makes Into the Radius frustrating for some players is actually why I like it. If you don't plan correctly, you could lose everything, and if you don't have weapons, food and ammo in storage as backup, you could be in big trouble. This is why the game is so addictive and fun. Scavenging for loot and items and taking care of your weapons through weapon cleaning and heading out on dangerous missions is really the big hook here. The main story missions, or priority missions as they're called, will probably take you around 8 hours. At 3 hours playtime, I completed 44% of the game. After that, it will all be about leveling up gear and running random missions, so please keep this in mind. If you're a player who needs a real meaningful drive to play, like me for example, who will probably stop playing once the main story is done, versus someone who simply loves grinding away for better guns and better loot, keep this all in mind before purchasing. Overall, I've had a great time with Into the Radius on PSVR2, just like I do playing this game on every platform. It's a unique VR game, excluding the sequel, which is honestly better in every way, but for PSVR2 owners, if everything I've said sounds like something you might enjoy, then you will definitely love the gameplay loop. I can lose hours just looting and storing gear for the future, and it's got some great moments, and even though it's a bit old now, it still kind of looks great and delivers an addictive gameplay loop. So thank you ever so much for watching. Please like and subscribe for more VR content, and I'll see you all on the next one.